Hello everybody, welcome to What Culture Gaming. I'm Scott, I'm joined by Josh.
Hello.
Hello. Now this is a thing that has been talked about for many years. Arkham Knight came out back in 2015, and everybody's been wondering what the hell are Rocksteady going to do next? With the Justice League coming, with the DCEU rising and falling and tempering out and doing whatever, it basically seems like we've finally got a bit of information as to what is actually going to happen.
A little bit of information.
Go on.
It's going to be a Superman game, which
Oh!
isn't really surprising according
No.
to a leak on 4chan that's been spread around. It's definitely going to be a Superman game. It's going to run on Unreal Engine 4. It's going to be set in the Arkhamverse.
Yep.
And we should get an announcement before E3.
Now, interestingly, this does make sense in terms of the Arkhamverse stuff, because if you go back to Arkham Knight, there's all sorts of Easter eggs that actually just reference Superman.
Seeded all the way through that game.
Yeah, and it's just like as if he's already active in that world. Like, I mean, you have some of the gangsters like, oh, I heard about this guy in Metropolis, like whatever. So they've already kind of planted it. And Lex Luthor had a building in Arkham Knight, in Gotham as well. So it kind of makes sense. It's the next most natural pivot to go to if you've been working on Batman. So have you got any details as to what the hell this is?
Some details.
Go on.
Apparently, the map itself is another open world game, 3 times the size of Arkham Knight, which, man, that sets off red flags for me, because I love Rocksteady's open worlds, but they are better when they are smaller and more densely packed. I'm sure this will be, but when you open it up, that scope loses something, but then you need it for a man like Superman. Scott, I'm very confused.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because the whole reason that Arkham Asylum, for me, was the best one was because, it was so tight and so tightly designed. But you had a character that specialized in close quarters. Like, Batman's very much a stealthy character. Superman, not so much. He's going to want to throw people around and fly and chase after them, which I think, is part of this.
Yes, apparently there is flying is integrated into the combat system, so you punch a dude, you like fly after him, you punch him again. You unfortunately can't punch them through any buildings and make them tumble down.
Is that the only way Superman can land a punch? Because we've seen it do that in Injustice and in Man of Steel. If he wants to hit someone so hard with all his power, they're always going to fly so far away that he's like, can you just... And he hits them again. Every single time. So he needs a good chunk of distance to cover if he's going to be laying into somebody. Yes. Which makes sense. I like the idea that flight is a main part of the game as well. That was... I know everybody didn't play it and people really didn't like it, but back when the 360 verse came out, there was a Man of Steel tie-in game or a Superman tie-in game.
Oh, yeah.
And it was fine. It was the original Superman, the Brandon Routh one. That was just fun because you could fly around. Even the old Superman Age of Apocalypse one was fun because you could fly around and freeze things and pick up cars and everything.
Yeah.
That as a gameplay experience hasn't been done. Maybe a Crackdown, but it's like if they can just nail that, it's enough for me. So I like the idea of that so far.
I love the sense of like you said, the Brandon Routh Superman game, although it was pretty trash. It really nailed its the hero's kind of core powers. Like flying around was fun, but again, it didn't nail anything else, and I'm wary that Rocksteady might not be able to, because adapting Superman is a really hard thing to do.
Yes,
his powers. They're just ridiculous, man. They're OP. He's an OP character. He needs to be nerfed, and that's apparently what Rocksteady's doing. They're sort of bringing him back down to earth a bit. There have been comparisons to he'll be on the same power scale as he was in the animated series, which doesn't mean much to me. But from what I gather, there's sort of like a limit. He feels more human. He can feel pain. And
it means that he won't have the solar flare thing, which was given to him. That was his latest new ability, as far as I know. I haven't been keeping up with Superman as much as I probably should. But yeah, one of the things with that though is that Rocksteady's bread and butter became the Arkham combat system. Yep. The whole watch for the counter prompts, all that kind of thing. That doesn't fit the level of locomotion you're going to have playing as Superman.
No.
Unless you're somehow taking on aerial enemies. I mean, there's a lot of questions that come out of Rocksteady doing this.
I think this needs to be demonstrably different from the Arkhamverse to sort of stand on its own. And those links obviously need to be there, but like Superman can't just play like Batman, like you said. He's got a completely different set of powers. But that leads us into the next thing, because apparently,
go on.
Like everything's a shared universe now, this upcoming game, apparently Rocksteady wanted to nail Superman, because they're also working on a Justice League game, which is another rumor that's been flying around for a while, but apparently that will also be a multiplayer game.
Okay.
A co-op game.
That makes a bit more sense for Rocksteady because you have more grounded characters. We've already played as Harley Quinn in Arkham Knight. I'm trying to think of the rest of the members of the Justice League. But Green Lantern, I guess you have all the summoning stuff, but still he's a melee-focused character. That makes a hell of a lot more sense. So assumedly they'll do Superman and he'll plug into this multiplayer game later on. Interesting.
Yeah, it is, because WB has seemingly been trying to make a team-up game for a while. There was the Suicide Squad game that WB Montreal was allegedly working on that got canned.
Yes.
So it makes sense for them to sort of take the ideas that were inherent to that, to move them over to a Justice League game, have a really huge thing. I know Justice League doesn't have the same street cred it used to have,
Not
but it's
anymore.
still a huge property, and it could be done really well in video game
The
form.
thing is, like, even as much as the DCU has messed things up, or whatever, that's an argument for everywhere other than right here, right now, there's still a good set of characters and a good set of goodwill behind them. It's not like the DC fandom was only predicated on a set of movies. This fandom is going to outlast that and has been around for far longer beforehand. So, yeah, if they can put those characters together and just do them well, give them the weight and give them the characters behind their movements and all that kind of thing, then, yeah, there's still more than enough goodwill behind them. Everyone's going to forget about the DCU in a long enough timeline anyway.
And then this will stand
Kind
the
of already
test
have,
of
to be honest.
time. Please, Rocksteady. Please just do it.
Aquaman's coming, though. What?
Woo! Will he make it into this game? I don't know.
Well, you probably would be.
Yeah.
But anyway, not to worry. So speaking of the movies, one of the things at the end of Man of Steel, which could have been fun to play but was horrendous on screen, was slamming someone through a building. Now, can we do that?
Nah, you can't. You can't do it. There's going to be a huge open world, but it's going to have very limited interactivity, apparently. Lots of buildings, but none you can smash through. Which, I mean, I guess that everyone, including Marvel, have sort of been averse to letting you smash through buildings now because there's a lot of collateral damage that hasn't been taken into account in superhero movies, but I like it.
I like it in the game, and the start of God of War showed how that thing could be done.
Yes.
But not in a building because it's a bit old. But I wonder whether they had that on the cards on the table at one point, and then Man of Steel happened, and all the Fallout happened, and Civil War addressed the idea of collateral damage so well that they've gone, we can't do this careless Zack Snyder-y madness anymore.
I think that could be it, because
Need to rein
I
it in.
can't remember what the game was, but it was a cancelled Superman game where the only bit of footage, I think it was Superman smashing Doomsday like through a building and they were fighting through it. And to kind of maybe lose that in this, to have a more static environment, I think for Superman you need those huge epic battles that sort of reverberate around the city. It doesn't have to be a city, but reverberate around the environment to cause destruction. But by the sounds of things, this will have the same or similar level of destruction as Arkham Knight, which is still cool. Like barreling around in the Batmobile, taking chunks out of Gotham, was admittedly very satisfying. I like that a lot.
I mean, if they're pulling cues from the animated series, there were still some big over-the-top spectacles in that show, but they didn't go to the gratuitous lengths that Man of Steel went to.
Yeah.
So it depends how they're going to draw that line. I mean, there's something about Superman being so OP and capitalizing on that can only result in the biggest destruction possible. But we'll have to wait and see.
This is also the thing, because you'd assume that they would need that level of destruction because the villain is apparently Brainiac, who sort of invites that kind of scale and that like level of, I don't know, like super powered fights, you know what I mean?
Well, he's a man with big tentacles and alien swarms and everything. I mean, he was brilliant in Injustice too. If they're going to leapfrog off the goodwill in that and leapfrog off the, I don't know, remote sort of cultural placement that Brainiac now has because of Injustice 2, for all the people that played that. Injustice 2. It's a good way to go. I mean, he's a very, very good villain, and I would recommend Injustice 2 to anybody. That game is fantastic.
Yeah.
Which is good. I also noticed you've got written here, no Clark Kent.
No, this is very much, according to the leak, a Superman game. Which makes a lot of sense because...
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yes. Oh, it's not that Superman isn't Clark Kent. It's that you can't play as Clark Kent. There's no element of sort of alter egos or secret
Clickbait
identities. That is clickbait. That's classic us.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Battle Client or whatever you're going to say.
We don't actually know. That's just all it said in the leak, so it doesn't really...
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You could go on to be like...
I'd have to go and recruit Ewan because he knows everything about everything relating to comics. As to whether there's any other Supermen that would qualify other than Clark Kent. I don't think there are.
I don't think there is.
But that's a good way to go. I mean, we didn't play as Bruce Wayne apart from the tiniest moments in the Arkham trilogy, so it makes sense to focus on Superman and not Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Plus, Kent doesn't have a whole lot to do unless you're going to flesh out the duality of him struggling with a news story. So.
Like Rocksteady have sort of done like those story beats before, like the more grounded stuff, but they excel when they just relish in like the superhero side of things.
Yes.
Like being Bruce Wayne was sort of cool in Arkham City for a little bit.
He looked like an ape.
He did look. He's
looks
got
like
a
a
hulking meathead.
Which relates to the one image that goes alongside this leak of what Superman might look like. He's also got that similar sort of like square looking thing. It's very much old school Gears of War. It's very much that. But whatever, if you're going to play as this over the top character that can leap buildings in a single bound and lift whatever he wants, you're kind of going to need a character like him. So, whatever. That for the most part, that stuff kind of fits. So with all this known, and assumedly it's going to go far and wide, unless Rocksteady or Warner Brothers go, actually, that's just a lie.
Could do.
When are we actually going to get an official thing? Assumedly E3?
before E3.
Ooh.
A soft announcement before E3 with a tease of more gameplay to come
Nice.
at E3. So we could be looking at an official announcement within the space of a few weeks, which is very exciting because we've been waiting a long time for this game.
Usually the way things work with this is that the leak thing blows up, and the only two ramifications are that the company gets in front of it and says, yeah, you guys were right, it's totally true, here's the actual trailer we were saving for the next few weeks, or they just let the leaks go online because we're wrong. So that's nearly always the only two eventualities. The only thing in the middle is that things start getting deleted and they don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
And they try and pretend that no one knows. And it's, but we'll have to see how it goes from here. But either way, you guys can let us know what you think down in the comments below. Should Rocksteady's next game be Superman or should it be something else? And what do you think of the Justice League multiplayer game? I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I've been Josh from WhatCulture.com.
I'll catch you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.